Somebody put in a auto video.
Uh-oh. Was that you or someone did it?
No, this one. So probably the previous show host was putting the show together and they put a clip in. Yeah, they got an intro and an outro. So I'll fix that while you bring us in.
That's cool. At least it wasn't that long, so that's good. I was worried it was going to be long. But anyway, you're listening to United Public Radio 107.7 FM New Orleans. We're still alive, sort of, not really. And we got Jay McNicholas here with us tonight.
How's it going? How do you like the new? Is that where did this come from? This Church of Mabus, audio avatar.
That's from Graham Ganson.
Oh, thank you, Graham. That's awesome. I saw that. I was like, oh, that's got to be for us.
Did I actually? Yeah. Is it on mine too? I don't know. I didn't
should
actually
be. If you go
earlier, did it?
If you go to stop cam and then edit avatar, it should be in there.
Okay. All right. Well, one thing I want to say is if you go to churchofmabusradio.com, it'll take you to our Facebook group. This is like year 19 or year 20 or something. I don't know. I've lost count. We've gone mad. I don't know what year it is anymore either. But nonetheless, basically, if you go to churchofmabusradio.com, it drops you into the group. And I've been sharing GoFundMe. But anyway, Gmail took one of my emails just for sending it to people. And now I probably sent it to too many people. And I can understand if I'm breaking a rule and I wouldn't do it again. But they're like turning down appeals like I'm a serial killer or something.
Yeah, you sent me an email about your mom going to the hospital, and I replied to it and said, this email account doesn't exist. I'm like, what do you mean how can anything not exist? He just sent this to me. It was like right away.
Facebook is punishing me and Gmail for GoFundMe. But anyway, so I'm winding down the donations before I have no accounts left. But anyway, good for E.R. Vernor. Corvus Nocturnus. What do we do with that name? Is that like an Elias you ditched, or is this just ER?
I mean, I haven't written under that name in probably 15 years, and I kind of wanted to do a rebranding of sorts to be a little more professional sounding, so people would take my work a little more seriously. And when I started getting into television production on the side, that I figured it was time to drop the pseudonym.
That's cool. That's cool. And I know I was like looking for you. I was like, "Where's Corvus? Where's Corvus?" But good to have you back, man. E.R. Vernor and one of the original guests. Jay, what's that background? Did you just put that background up?
No, I switched over. We were in the Paranormal Insights, part of the studio. They had their pictures. This is the everybody's studio, but our pictures are gone. We haven't been able to put them back in yet.
You can put up a picture if you want. I just put.
I'm putting up something. There we go. No, that's too bad. There we go.
Anyway, great to have you here. You're one of our original guests when we were starting out, and
my goatee was black back then. Now it's white.
And I guess, and you're still involved with the Church of Satan, and that's like you were the spokesman, correct?
One of, yeah. I haven't done it too much in a while. I'm still in good standing with Peter and Peggy. We talked last week. I'm putting together a couple projects that some of the members are involved in, called Devil is a Gentleman, about etiquette, manners, how to succeed and gain power in life. So a lot of the different members are contributing even entire chapters on like cigars, fine wine, proper dressing, the forgotten arts that modern kids don't have a clue about.
And our one of our former co-hosts is a spokesman for Temple of Satan, which I don't know much about them, but I do know I saw the documentary and stuff. And I'm kind of curious to your perspective. Now it's kind of like they're picking up garbage on the side. They're doing stuff Christians should be doing, but it's weird. It's controversial. Definitely.
That's the thing. I mean, Reverend Bill M. I'm not sure if you've ever had him on your show. He actually lives in the city that they were first founded in, and he was at a bar kind of accidentally eavesdropping, and the two gentlemen who founded the temple were actually just planning on creating this Baphomet statue, take the money and run sort of deal when it first came about, that they were just copying the Church of Satan and changing everything they didn't like about it for themselves and rebranding it. And the ironic part is they got so much attention and so much money for the statue thing because of the controversy, they actually had to make it a legitimate thing. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're going to take half of what Anton LaVey created and then sprinkle in everything else you want, and then do other things and try to get media attention and rattle people's chains, go to cemeteries and have these weirdo fake you know rituals just for publicity, that's not what the real COS is all about. We don't get involved in public things. We don't like controversy. We like to keep to ourselves and be very low key. It's more about the philosophy and how you enrich your own life while you're here on earth. And there's no giant thing about rituals. We don't believe that the devil is influencing everyone to make us bad, that's all Christian, uh, rhetoric or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's their thing. So for the temple to turn around and make a big fiasco and a joke about the whole thing, it's kind of insulting to real members of the COS. So, that's the real scoop behind the scenes is they were going to do it as a giant con job and disappear, but then they actually had to live up to it and then turn it into some sideshow circus. So, yeah, we don't get along with them at all.
That's interesting. That's definitely, I didn't know much about it at all, and I don't know much about any of it, but it's cool to talk about for some reason.
I mean, honestly, I have more in common with Christians than I do with the Temple of Satan.
Yeah.
As far as morality, leave people alone, be a good human being. And it may come as a shock to people to hear that, but it's a very much live and let live. And there is wisdom in every school of thought on the planet. And I just kind of cherry pick from each one. And I'm like, well, you know what? At the end of the day, my honest opinion to everybody out there and to you guys is religion does not hold the monopoly on morality. You're either a good person or you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's very true.
So you can be an atheist and be a wonderful person. You can be a Christian and be a good person and live by the tenets that Jesus supposedly said that everybody needs to do. Or you can use it and be a crook like all the other televangelists out there. Your intent matters more than anything else.
I know when you see some of the pictures of like Sammy Davis Jr. with Anton LaVey, it's strange. Like, what do you know much about how he was involved a little bit? And then, of course, we're going to get into the book. I didn't even know we were going to go to this part of anything right now. But do you know much about that relationship? It's definitely a weird one to see that picture.
That was obviously way before my time because LaVey wasn't even alive during my time period when I came in. I came in under Peter Gilmore, and that the Megas and I are good friends. But unfortunately, I never got to meet Anton. He had passed by the time I got involved. But I know he was very much connected with the Rat Pack, the Sinatra era, and that's one thing I will proudly say about LaVey's philosophy is for the time period, you have to remember when this was. They were very pro, if someone was gay, they didn't care. If Sammy Davis Jr., he was black, didn't care. During that time period, it was more controversial for other people to be accepting of them. Unlike, LaVey, who said, hey, come over here, buddy. So I know now nobody cares, or at least not as much. But things changed and evolved over the last, 40, 50 years in American culture and mindset. Of course, you got your share of bigots and, hateful, vile individuals out there that still want to hang somebody because they're not the right color or whatever. But I think that's what is extremely ironic is the so-called wickedest person on the planet since Crowley died, Anton LaVey, brings in a black gentleman and applauds him and says, "Hey, be one of us, buddy. Come party." You know. So, like I said, religion does not have a monopoly on morality, and just because you go to church doesn't mean you're a good human being.
Very, very true. Yes.
And definitely things are crazy as hell right now with everything in America. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. I
can't even keep up. It's so crazy. It's like making me crazy just trying to ignore it.
I do my best, and I got into it with some people on social media because I made a rather well-read post about I don't opt into politics on one extreme or the other. I think they're both criminals. And I stated why I thought so, that everything since Jimmy Carter to right now, that I can find flaws and problems with every single presidential leader, or if you point out or name a governor, I can probably find dirt on every single one of them. I said, they're all criminals, to one degree or another. They've all done bad things. And
well, not necessarily that. They've also done very similar things that are not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
Biden, Obama, Clinton, name a Democratic president far back, every single one of them utilized ICE the same way that Trump is, not to the degree, but they were used, and they weren't televised. This is all over the air, and it's madness.
Yeah, and you know what?
Madness.
I like to point out to people that just because you're for one thing, or sorry, my bad, backtrack. If you're against what one person is doing, it does not automatically mean that you side with the other side. It's not a dichotomy, and it's not about being a centrist. It's the flat out saying they're both wrong. The truth lies in the middle. Because whenever you have an extreme of either direction, you're causing hate and discord and people fighting over these differences when the truth and reality is right down the middle of common sense.
Yeah.
And, I caught a little flack for that because everybody's like, well, if you don't agree with me, then you must be on the other side. And I said, you kind of misunderstood my entire point of I'm not on either person's side. You're both idiots.
Absolutely. Yeah. I totally agree with that 100%.
Absolutely nuts. I actually had a Republican guy tell me that people who are choosing neither side, that's who they'll be going after next, which which that may be dangerous to them, which it needs to be, that's for sure.
It could be dangerous to them. You come on after me. This house is well armed.
Well, when you consider what else I've done with my day job profession for the last 12 to 15 years, from
what's that?
Military and security and bounty hunting and working in gun stores, and I'm a firearms instructor.
I saw you with the gun and stuff on your thing. I was like, what in the world? It's like some G.I. Joe Cobra.
I'll just say that.
That's your real job. What you just said. That's your real
job. My house is well defended and alarmed, and if you can find out where I live, then you're a brave or stupid person if you're going to come challenge me on my home turf.
That's awesome. So we need to be learning from you about this stuff.
I recently found a way to I think it was a 50% increase in capacity on my Remington 870. I found these they're Aguila, they're like half shot shells.
Yeah, they're called the mini shells.
Yeah, mini shells. Yeah, I got a couple boxes. My buddy found them. He sent me some, and it went from the magazine holds 9 and one in the pipes. So that's 10. So it now holds 15.
Yeah, just don't do birdshot because that won't really put somebody down. It'll just hurt them. You want the double out buck or slugs?
I actually have 7.5 skeet shot in there, which it'll take your head off.
I wouldn't bet my life on birdshot. Just saying.
At close range in my house, it's enough that it'll take off. I tested them out. I worked at a rifle and pistol range. That shot at 21 feet will eliminate somebody's head.
At 20 and under, it's still pretty condensed.
Yeah, and I've got skeet. I've got I think I have an improved improved modified. What do you call?
Keeps the cluster tighter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's
So,
good.
yeah, so if we could a little bit about the bounty hunter stuff a little bit. I'm really interested to hear that before the vampire serial killer sex cult stuff.
Well,
Well, that's how he got into the vampire stuff. Was he was bounty hunting a vampire?
it kind of does weave itself in together, like all the weird, interesting things in my bizarre life. Is
I love it.
I was helping out with a Fort Wayne Pagan Pride group because I wanted to help all religions come together and become more aware of each other. For example, uh, Father Bob Bailey from Paranormal State. He and I are good buddies. You wouldn't think so, but I have lots of Christian and Jewish leader friends that we can call each other up and say, "Hey, let's go hang out." And it's weird, but it sounds like one of those jokes of, a rabbi, a priest, and whoever goes into a bar. Well, that literally did happen at a gathering where I was at. We were supposed to be speaking on a world religion panel, and me, Father Bob Bailey, and two other people that were of other denominations were all sitting at the bar talking before we went to do the panel. So, I was picked to help run Fort Wayne Pagan Pride Day. And when I just wanted some downtime because of all the stress of organizing something this big, I went to the range. Well, lo and behold, one of the other local pagan people I didn't know showed up with their spouse, and they were into guns, so they were doing the same thing, just releasing some stress. And turns out that the husband was the owner of a fugitive recovery service that was third party contracted under the local bail bonds outfit. So he saw me shooting and he was impressed. And the gear I had in the trunk, he's like, "That's better than what Fort Wayne PD has." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I've been into this for a while." So he offered me a job. So, the first night on the job, we were going to a really bad end of town, and he got a couple other guys together. One was a repo car salesman that used to be a bounty hunter, and some other friend of his. And we hit a house that supposedly a cartel member was holed up in.
Mhm.
So, yeah, first night on the job. Good way to just dive right in there.
Yeah.
So,
How do people deal with that anxiety when you're on a job like that with that? That just gives me anxiety hearing it. So I couldn't imagine actually being there.
well, when you have the background and training that I did going into it, it wasn't a big deal. I had already been Army infantry. I did security jobs and I shot constantly. I had brand new, really good state of the art body armor, and I was pretty confident. So they stuck me on the back door with the radio. I was basically guarding the exit. So the rest of the group, flushed through the house and scared the poor lady and her kid in the house that he supposedly was in. They had the warrant and everything. It was a legit bust. And then over the radio, they called me up, say, "Hey, Eric, we need you inside." I'm like, "Okay." So I go traipsing through this cluttered, dingy house that was in the ghetto. And I go, through the whole house, and over the radio, they're like, "Hey, come on upstairs." So I end up going upstairs, and there's this little kid's bedroom. It couldn't have been more than 8 feet square, cluttered with toys and a cot. And these two giant guys that look like linebackers in SWAT gear are standing there, and they're just looking at me when I come in the door. And I'm like, "Okay, are we busting G.I. Joe here or what?" So they look at me, look at each other, and look up at the ceiling in the where the closet's at. And they're like, "You got a flashlight?" I'm like, "Yeah." "You got your 1911 on you?" And I said, "Yeah, I got the 45. And they're like, "What we're gonna do is grab you by the ankles and hoist you up, and you're going to do whack-a-mole and pop up. And as soon as the light breaks and you see him, you're going to fire off a round and make him drop his gun."
Yeah, what?
My God.
And me, being the dummy I was at the time, well, let's just say that he got picked up in Pennsylvania, I think, the next day by the state troopers, and he wasn't in the attic, or I wouldn't be here right now.
Wow. So they threw you up there?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and my wife Star was rather upset, and she called me a whack-a-mole, and she hated, the job. And 5 years later, I quit, and yeah, I had some adventures, and I've got some really cool gear left over from it. But I've got some stories.
You got any secret UFO stuff? Because I was just that crosses my mind with you for some reason. Secret
Um,
UFO
I
stuff.
don't have any UFO stories other than my grandmother. Like I was telling our friend here before, you came back in before the break, that I can thank my grandfather for being into secret societies because he was a Mason, and that's what got me into, the occultism and studying secret societies and all the weird, spooky stuff.
Yeah.
But my grandmother was actually the one who had an old tattered magazine in the 50s that was all about Bermuda Triangle, UFOs, and Bigfoot. That was her side passion that was weird for a woman of her age back in the 50s and 60s. So she used to let me look through it, and I would flip pages when I was a little kid at their house. And I credit my grandparents 100% in me being the weirdo that I am today, and now I've made a career out of it.
Awesome. So has there been as the paranormal? I know you do the Eerie travel book, which is like paranormal locations, but that's the main reason we're here is because I've had paranormal stuff happen that was really crazy, and some of it I'm still psychologically getting over, but it led to this whole show, and we've had people
Right.
on that. I can remember Stanton Friedman, nuclear physicist, who's passed away now, has been on. Jim Mars, like we've had some of the greats on back in the day, and I can't even believe it myself. Some of the ones that we've had on, like it's just to think about it. Like,
Yeah, we
yeah,
had Nick Redford 6 years in a row. He was our standard Halloween guest, in our last show in Halloween in October, 6 years running.
and
Well,
go ahead.
I will let you guys know. I try to make it as clear as I can, but apparently the networks 10 years ago didn't quite understand the pitch because they passed on Eerie America back when paranormal shows were all the rage. And they're like, well, we don't need Eerie America Travel Channel because we have this, this, and this. And I'm like, it's not necessarily just a paranormal show.
Yeah.
So we've reworked the pitch to be a little more clear, and we're actually submitting it through a company. Daniel Clace is the executive producer for Nick Groff's current show, Deathwalker. So some of you may not know, I published Daniel's book on the Hinsdale house that he owns. So that's kind of the backstory on that. But Eerie America, as a series of books that we've been working on for a very long time, originally came out in 2000, I want to say 14, by Schiffer Publishing. And Kevin and I, my co-author and co-host now, we weren't real happy with how Schiffer butchered our book. I understand as a publisher myself that color books are expensive and you have to try to be economical about it and everything, but they stripped out so much information, and we've learned so much since then that we wanted to take the rights back and do it ourselves. So instead of just one ginormous book for 1,000 locations, we're cranking out 5 of them by this fall of different segments of the United States, like Northwest, Southwest, that sort of thing. Um, and what it is truly, as our tagline says, we could be called the Addams Family Travel Guide, but that name's taken, so we can't. So we just call it Eerie America Travel Guide of the Macabre, and it is literally spooky, weird, unusual, and bizarre places to eat at, sleep at, shop at, and visit.
Cool.
It could be Clown Motel. It could be Beetle House in New York, which is a Tim Burton themed restaurant. All kinds of stuff. Tourist locations, oddity shops to go shopping at. And of course, there are some paranormal locations in it because how could you have a book on Eerie America without some haunted places thrown in?
Be
But
be a really, really good salesman to get that one across the bookshelf.
well, we have a few aces hidden up our sleeves to get the networks more interested because as time has gone on, I've become friends with people from the convention circuit that I stay in touch with. Like if you go to the heavy metal burger place in Chicago, and I'm going to stop right there for 1 second. But have you guys watched Guy Fieri in Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives?
I haven't
Yeah,
seen
I'm
it.
not a food channel guy. I know who he is,
Okay.
though.
Well, he's a super famous chef that goes around to all these little dive bars and he tries their food and he shows off how cool they are. And you see the outside of the restaurant, but occasionally a celebrity will pop in, like Bret Michaels or, Gary Busey or whoever, just because he's famous himself and he knows them. And they'll
Yeah.
pop in, they'll say hi, and the fans will go crazy and they'll try some of the food. Well, we're stealing kind of that idea. And like I said, you go to the metal bar in Chicago, and we're going to have Lita Ford come around the corner and join us for a brew.
That's
Or
good.
if we go to Waverly, Nick Groff's going to pop in for a minute and wave to everybody. Or Father Bob Bailey from Paranormal States, we're going to show up at the Exorcist stairs, that was in the famous movie, and he'll talk to us about an exorcism while the camera pans down the stairs. And no, we're not going to push Father Bob down the stairs. We like him.
Yeah.
So that's part of the fun of it's going to be
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. I kept thinking of the Seinfeld one with the cars and coffee. That was really good. That style of interview and these kind of things needs to be done more often.
It's supposed to be educational. It's fun. You'll learn about the places, the history of it. The people that own the places are going to be guest stars of their own episode, because who knows the location better than the person like Robin Terry? He'll pop in and he'll give us a tour of his asylum, and stuff like that, where we feel that we ask the questions, the owners provide the interesting facts. That way they know it better, and well, we're lazy because we don't want to have all the answers before we go there.
And what channel was this on? What did you say?
It has not been picked up yet. We're shopping it around as of next month.
Cool.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we would love for the Travel Channel or Discovery or Destination, one of those three to grab it, because it fits right in with their thing. And sadly, I predicted it 10 years ago that so many paranormal shows have gone by the wayside or straight to YouTube, that the fans are still out there who love that sort of thing, but the shows are disappearing. So maybe the silver lining is there's an opening for us to step in.
I gotta ask you this. I've been keeping up with the Skinwalker Ranch and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch on the History Channel. That is some of the weirdest shit I've seen on TV ever in this kind of stuff. And I don't try to buy it all and say it's all real, but I mean, I think some of it is. But I'm kind of curious, is a History Channel an option for your show? And what do you think about all that Skinwalker Ranch stuff? Like that show, they're going nuts on there with stuff that I've never seen ever.
Yeah.
Bigelow personnel. On Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, they're going to other ranches, and this stuff's happening. Like there's crazy shit happening on this show.
One of the guys that was behind the documentary came to me years ago and wanted to put out a book on it. And there was so much controversy and lawsuits going on, I didn't want to touch it.
Yeah.
So maybe that was dumb of me and I could have cashed in, but I'd rather have integrity and not be part of the, legal snafus, so I stepped out of it. But to answer your other question, I wouldn't mind being on the History Channel because, like I said just a minute ago, there is a lot of rich history behind some of these really old places. And while we are investigating and writing about these 1,000 different places in the United States, obviously when you put in a Google search of Halloween themed restaurants and bars, you don't just have the United States pop up. We're finding locations all over the world. So if Eerie America takes off and we have a 10-year run at the side, at the end of the day, we're having so much extra research. I certainly would
England,
not.
Eerie Ireland, Eerie Germany, Eerie Austria.
Exactly.
History Channel even ran that Jeff Mudgett Holmes Ripper weird show. I've had Jeff Mudgett on, but the crazy
super good guy.
Yeah, I love Jeff. He's one of my first guests too. But yeah, the whole that was a crate. They do some crazy stuff on there.
Right.
Sure.
And so why not have another series called Eerie Abroad? And we're going to pitch that at the same time. because it's like if Eerie America becomes a hit because it's lighthearted and entertaining and fun, and yet it's spooky weird, where we have everything from the barbecue, joint that's based out of one of uh,
Yeah.
the Leatherface, movies, and then Kane Hodder pops around the corner and with a plate of ribs. And I think that would be funny since he was one of the Jasons. So I thought, why not, throw in some fun stuff like that? Because Kane's a super guy; he'll do it.
Yeah, that's funny. I got to ask you, with the book and the haunted places, did you get a location in Savannah called the Pirate's House Restaurant?
The Absinthe Pirate place down in New Orleans?
No. Savannah, Georgia. They have a restaurant called the Pirate's House, and it's haunted, and it's multiply haunted from what I understand. The only manifestation that I remember, I was in there for 13 years for school, and I just lived there I love the city. It's great. Lived there 13 years, but the main ghost was an escaped slave, I do believe, they caught him inside that building before. It wasn't the restaurant then, obviously. But
Right.
when they caught the slave, they found him in that building and they hung him right there on the spot inside the building.
Oh wow.
So so his body, his spirit is permanent within the building. It's very, very cool.
Oh wow. I had no idea. If you don't mind, find me on Facebook and shoot me a private message about that to remind me, and I'll look it up, because I don't think I have that for Georgia. I have the one for New Orleans for the Absinthe Pirate Bar.
You need to check out Savannah. It isn't just the Pirate's House that's haunted.
Yeah.
There's more.
I've got some plantations. I've got I think there's some place called the Catfish Restaurant. There's the
that actually sounds familiar, to be honest with you, but Savannah's got they've got a cemetery downtown that's haunted.
Yep.
One of my friends who I went to school with down there, he runs a walk tour business. The tour starts at midnight,
okay,
and they walk you through downtown through the haunted area, haunted Eerie parts of Savannah. The cemetery being like the penultimate end of the tour.
If our show gets picked up, we might actually reach out to him and have him be one of our guests for an episode.
Oh, he'd love it. Yeah, he's very well into the history of Savannah.
Okay, since you're familiar with that area, isn't there a museum for paranormal and cryptids down there?
I don't not necessarily in Savannah itself. I know the only city.
Panama City has Ripley's in Florida.
Okay.
I said Panama City, Florida has Ripley's, believe it or not, for some reason.
Well, I've got Ripley's in Florida and one in, I believe, Texas, but I didn't know for sure. Somebody also told me that there is a cryptid museum in Seattle that I need to check out.
No, definitely. I can imagine that.
Christina said that. Oh, go ahead, Jay, and then I'll.
Gatlinburg, Tennessee used to have, I don't know if it still is, but used to have a Ripley's, believe it or not, museum, and so did. It was either Rehoboth or Bethany, one of the two beaches in Delaware.
Okay.
They had Ripley's on the boardwalk, but I think that location's been since closed.
Okay.
But no, the only museum we have in town in Savannah is the Telfair Arts Museum, and if you want to see the Forrest Gump bench that he sits on, where he meets all the people as he narrates the movie, that's where the bench is. It's in the museum. If you want to see where the square is, it's like 6 blocks away on the other side of town. But
yeah, I mean, we're including things like Edgar Allan Poe's birthplace. Up in Boston area, there's a lot of markers for him. There's H.P. Lovecraft's grave in New York, Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. How that's connected to the story by Irving. Yeah. And in that general area, I think not too far away, actually, from Sleepy Hollow, there's the mansion that was used as the set for the original Dark Shadows. We're going to hit them up.
That's cool.
Christina said that there's a ghost burger place in Jerome, Arizona. Something about ghost burgers or something. Ghost hamburgers. What is it?
Town is awesome to check out.
Jerome, Arizona.
A ghost city.
A ghost city.
I hope that doesn't entail them putting ghost peppers on every damn burger.
Let me tell you.
I'm not eating it. No.
Real quick. And me and Christina on during Christmas time, There's like this mansion down down the road. We're not in a mansion. We're like in a guest house. But anyway, there's like this big house, and they had this crazy Christmas thing that I've never seen on a house ever. It was like a hologram movie, and you use your phone to go over their sign to get the sound effects and read the barcode
cool.
on the sign. And it like did this crazy Jesus Santa Claus. It was insane. It was like I felt like I was really high, but it was the weirdest thing ever that I've ever seen. Like it was like one of those little blinky things with the lights, but like times a million on this house, like doing this crazy Christmas thing. It was a trip
Well,
for sure.
you know, you guys, or especially the fans out there that are listening right now, if you
Yeah.
guys hit me up on Facebook and send me a private message of different locations that you think would be fitting for Eerie America, whether it's a hotel, a restaurant, or anything that would be a travel destination for people, I've gotten so many awesome leads just in the last 2 months of coming back on Facebook, just from fans when I post like 2 or 3 pictures of a place that I know about, and I'm like, "Hey, this is super cool. You know, you should check out Zombie Burger Drink Lab in Iowa or Voodoo Donuts. Do you guys know of anything else like it?" And I will get a dozen messages from people or comments on my wall telling me other places that I'd never heard of, and the books are coming out this
Cool.
fall.
I mean, that's cool, but you would not think there would be so many spooky locations.
Yeah,
No?
I
You know
swear
what I mean?
there's over 1,000 locations for the series of books. So that means if you divide up the books into TV episodes of 5 places per book, I've got almost 15 years worth of ongoing television for people just in the United States, let alone abroad.
Yeah.
Have you had any personal paranormal experiences during any of this kind of stuff that
Uh,
maybe that
I figured you would get to that. Well,
It has to be a yes.
I made someone a promise a long time ago that if I ever had any experiences, because most of my old fans or people that have watched me on your show years ago will know that I am a complete skeptic, but I love this sort of thing. So
Yeah.
they made me promise that if anything ever happened to me, I would tell people what it was. So here goes. I went down to tour Randolph County Infirmary in Randolph, Indiana, which is somewhere between Fort Wayne and Indianapolis. So the owner, who's a real big supporter and one of the camera guys for Eerie America, actually, Dan Allen, had me go through the place with a gentleman named Chris Musgrove. Well, Chris was giving the tour. My wife Star was kind of worn out from our day's excursion, so she decided to read a book near the front of the building. Well, if you guys aren't familiar, or your listeners may or may not be, the old infirmaries of that time period were massive complexes. And this one was no different. It was an asylum and an infirmary during the Civil War, I believe. And so it's got 3 stories plus a basement. It's all abandoned. Every room is like these creepy little, I guess they were dorms, but they look like tiny prison cells to me.
Yeah, more like jail cells. Yeah.
Yeah. So we decide that we're going to leave Star at the entryway so she can read her Anita Blake book, and we're going to go prowl around the infirmary, just me and the guide. Well, Chris and I start out at the very back of the building, which it's on a different floor in the kitchen, way in the back. And we're walking. The whole place is empty. And from our vantage point, we can see out the windows at the ground level. So on either side of the property is nothing but empty cornfields. And across the highway that it's located on, there's nothing except for a giant parking lot and like some 4-H building way across. So literally, there is nobody that can approach the building by a vehicle or by foot, where if you're looking out the windows on either side, you're going to see them.
Yeah.
So clearly, the only 3 living people is me, Star, and Chris Musgrove. Well, we're about halfway through the building while he's talking, and I have it on one of my older phones. I never got rid of the phone because I wanted to prove it later. We hear a loud bang, and turn around and look at each other, and you can hear it on the video. And we look at each other and we're like, that came from behind us.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
like dozens of rooms down. So we go back and look, and it could have been a kitchen cabinet door in the kitchen, or maybe one of the bedroom doors, blew shut and back open, but there's no windows open to cause a cross breeze. There's nobody there. So we look at each other and go, okay. So we go back up the stairs, go all the way through the building down the main hall, and we're talking, and Star's so engrossed in her book, she doesn't even look up, and she sees me with my flashlight on in the daylight, because we were peeking in, all the dark corners trying to find somebody. And we look at her, and she's like, what? And I'm like, you didn't see anybody? You didn't hear anybody? And she's like, no. She would have heard them through the front of the building because she was in the foyer reading her book, and all the windows are open there. She didn't see or hear anybody. And I told Chris, Star has asthma. There was no way in hell she could run 200, feet, yards, whatever, above our heads at another floor to just go to the other end of the building and slam a door and then giggle and run all the way back to where she was and sit down and wait for us to come back. There's no way she could have done that without dying. So, like I promised, that is my story, and we to this day don't know what caused that loud bang. So, Randolph County Infirmary, go check it out.
I watch a lot of those places. Oh, goodness. Don't do that. Of course the dog does that. But for some reason she barks at my brother no matter what he does, and she doesn't bark at anyone else unless it's like a stranger or something. But anyway, that's an interesting story, and it's interesting. I watch a lot of these videos from YouTube about the the paranormal encounters, and they film them and send them in, and you're always like in a state of, is this real? Probably not. And some of them I think are real, but there are some crazy ones, and it gets crazy watching like Slapped Ham and those kind of and the UFO footage and the paranormal footage. And there's always like these certain kinds of entities that show up, and it seems like the same entity shows up in different experiences. That's the same creature. It's always like some skinny Nosferatu looking thing that shows up on a security cam, and it's like it shows up all over. Or it's like an Asian girl that runs across, like it shows up in different families. Like it's crazy. So I've been watching. We watch a lot of them, and it's just that level of realism. And I do think this stuff's happening on some level, but I don't think every one of those, of course, is real. That would be foolish. But there's definitely, I've had crazy experiences that I can't believe I've had that are really weird. Like she had a glass blow up before. That was really strange and just weird. We've had knocking on a bed. We had knocking on a RV outside and no one was around but us in it. It's like something slapped it. And one time we heard something that sounded like a crazy monkey in a tree. And this is Florida. And maybe it was a Bigfoot. I don't know, but it sounded like a crazy monkey in a tree.
Aren't there Bigfoots in
There's also the phenomenon of you being stalked by Gary Oldman from the Dracula movie. His shadow is still behind you.
I know. Yep. That shadow. That is actually a Cthulhu bank, and for some reason, it looks like Gary Oldman from Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. So,
we keep one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Doesn't it look like Gary Oldman's right behind him, about to strike and bite Jeffrey on his neck?
It's a Cthulhu, an H.P. Lovecraft, the Cthulhu creature, a bank, and it's on a shelf.
Well, I did a world panel of vampires with Michelle Belanger and Rosemary Ellen Guiley and a few other people.
You're in a documentary too, because I think I have that somewhere, like on a video or something weird.
Oh,
like
wow.
Some kind of vampire documentary, wasn't it? Wasn't there something you were involved in like that?
I put one out and I lost the files because of the computer crash, so I don't even own a copy of that anymore.
I have it somewhere, I swear, but I haven't seen it in forever, so I hope I still have it. But I used to, I bought it, I think. I'll have to look around at my DVDs.
Okay.
For sure. But I think some site was selling it or something.
Well, I put out one through Darkmoon Press years ago, so that might have been the one you got.
Yeah, I'll have to check.
But I became friends with Stoker's descendant who writes on vampires.
We've had him
Dacre.
on. Awesome.
Yeah, Dacre and I are buddies. I actually interviewed him for a book I put out. One of my last big ones was A World History of Vampires by me. And I had the pleasure of interviewing Dacre and a bunch of other authors. Basically, what I did is like a lot of my books on Lilith and the devil and zombies and vampires. What I do is I like to trace the origin and roots of everything in mythology. And, most of it stems back to Babylon and ancient Sumeria, the bedrock of civilization and mankind. So, I ask these guys, what are the myths and what is the folklore? Where did it come from? Because that's me. All of my books are pretty much based on the how come and why something got started that everybody knows in pop culture, but not a lot of people know its origin. So what I end up doing to myself is writing, 30, 40 books that are gigantic high school essays that never stop.
You got any cool Vlad the Impaler stuff in there? I love doing that's a rare. We've had Victor Foya. We had Victor Foya on once. He does these fiction books. He has like an eye patch. His eyes really gone. He's from Romania, about Vlad the Impaler. That's a hard show to find. But is there any?
Yeah,
Vlad
I remember him.
Yeah, well, Vlad to me was a hero because he was so small and overwhelmed of a country. He had to do something that today they would just consider it, shock tactics to scare and intimidate your enemy. Because when you're such a tiny little nation surrounded by a giant enemy that's going to overwhelm you, when you take their forces who try to, demolish you, and you beat them, and then you have the audacity and the sadistic cruelty to impale them while there's still some of them alive on these giant, stakes, and you just make this giant wall of them for miles. That kind of is intimidating. I don't care how powerful of an army you happen to have. You're going to go, maybe I should go back.
Yeah, maybe we should turn around.
Yeah.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
Definitely. I love the historical part of it. I saw a while back something about Brad Pitt bought some story that was going to tell like a historical version of it, like 300, but it vanished. I haven't heard anything. I was like, I don't know if I want Brad Pitt to be Vlad the Impaler, but I don't think they were.
Yeah. He doesn't quite fit.
That would be, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I worked in a movie theater when the Interview with the Vampire came out, and I loved it. And I read a lot of Anne Rice's books after that point, and he did a good job when he was younger. And so did, shockingly, Tom Cruise. But I can't see him playing a vampire, especially Tepish, at his age.
It'd have to be someone else for sure.
Yeah.
But he does have the rights to some script that's a historical movie about it that I think vanished into oblivion. We may never hear anything else about it.
That's the problem with Hollywood, is they summon up these entities, these franchises they want to make really great, and they either go into development hell, which is probably what happened with that thing, or they overdevelop it and then it turns into hell.
Right, exactly. And the sad thing is, Pitt is a movie producer himself, so even if he doesn't act in it, he could put together something really phenomenal. It's like World War Z was a great movie, and yet, even though they're working on a follow-up to it right now, how many years has it been since it came out?
Wow, yeah. 10 years probably, at least.
Yeah.
Wow, at least.
So it's kind of like the director and Will Smith coming together for next year trying to do a follow-up to I Am Legend, when the popularity has faded since then, because anybody who loved it back then is old as dirt like us, or the young people are going to go, who's this? I don't want to watch this. I don't care. Only people like you and me are going to go watch this.
And on that note, thank you for the segue, by the way. It seems official. Spaceballs Part 2, The Search for More Money, just signed. What's his face? Rick Moranis.
Yep. And that's the first thing. That's the first thing he's acted in like 20 years, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. pretty much. Except for maybe a few little tiny, one-off indie projects. Yeah, he doesn't do much.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta applaud the guy.
I would imagine though that the people buy that movie, rent it all the time. I bet you the residuals off of that, he's probably getting checks, $20,000-$30,000 checks a month just for that movie alone.
But you got to respect Moranis, because the reason he stopped being a movie star is his wife died. So he decided to step back from Hollywood and raise his kids. And now that they're old and grown and moved away, and when he got offered to come back for this movie that he loved so much, he just said yes.
I can't wait. It ought to be awesome.
There's a weird novel by Gary Oldman. I'll have to Google it in a minute to get the actual name, but I found it by accident. It's not out yet. It's like a Weird West about vampire cowboys coming out.
Ooh, wow.
I would watch that.
Yeah, I would too.
But let me look it up.
I like vampires, obviously, and I actually did love the TV show Justified. I thought that was awesome. So if you mix those two together, yeah,
that's good. And Deadwood, baby, that's right.
Speaking of awesome TV shows, Firefly Part 2 is coming out too, also at the end of this year.
What is
Firefly?
Really? They're bringing it back?
It's Nathan Fillion and Summer Glau. They're the only two left. That's all the information I have. Everybody else is dead. Yeah.
Everybody loved that show. It had such a cult following, and they begged for it to come back for years.
They're still begging. But apparently it's coming.
The lady who was married to Ryan Reynolds in the movie, in Deadpool, I can't pronounce her name, but the
Marina Baccarin.
That's it. She was actually in the original Firefly. She was like the...
She was the space prostitute.
Yeah. And so they could bring her back too.
Well, they could bring all of them back, but the tagline is that everybody's dead, and it's just River and Captain what's his face Reynolds. Yeah,
because unfortunately, the redhead guy that was Alan from the Alien comedy show, his character died.
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Wash, Wobash, whatever his name was. Wobash, Bowash, I can't remember. He was Wash. Hoburn, Wash, something, Washburn, something or other. Anyway, he died.
We loved the same stuff.
Yeah. It was a great show. Firefly was more of Star Trek Wagon Train to the Stars, because the way they wore their guns, everyone looked more cowboyish than Star Trek was. Star Trek was actually sold to the NBC network as a Wagon Train to the Stars. It's a cowboy show in space.
Yep.
But that's not what we gave them.
I like Paul Giamatti in the Star Trek. It was a little weird, but
that was I just watched the first three.
Starfleet Academy. It was a new Star Trek that just came out with Paul Giamatti's like a villain.
Oh, he's awesome.
Oh, wow.
He was fantastic.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's Paramount. Yeah, it's Paramount.
It's out. It's free. It's Paramount.
It's good.
Well, it's not free. You got to pay to get into Paramount. But once you own Paramount, you're in there.
A lot of my fans aren't aware that I'm a big Trekkie, Star Wars, and comic book nut. So
nice.
You need to watch this.
We've been doing Spartacus House of Asher. It's actually pretty good. It's kind of cheesy, but it's good. It's a lot of boobies.
Hey, can't go wrong there.
Yeah, definitely. But it's good. There's actually a scene where this gay dude grabs a little dwarf dude, I'm not going to say the M word, and throws him on a spike.
Oh.
It's a must see. He has to fight 3 dwarfs, and they're like a team, and they're in the gladiator pits. The dwarfs are together as a team, and they're assholes. So they're 3 little mean, like evil dwarfs, and they're a team in the gladiator. But it's actually pretty good. There's some cheesy stuff in it, but yeah. But yeah, man. The book was called Blood Riders, 2 words, by Gary Oldman. And I don't think it's out yet, but there's some buzz about it, but I don't know what's up with it. It's not out. I know it's on Goodreads. It says a profoundly creepy and highly original vampire story set in the Wild West from internationally acclaimed actor Gary Oldman and award-winning producer Douglas Urbinski.
Huh, wow.
No idea.
That's definitely something I want to check out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
like Gary Oldman's
love-
work. It's not interesting.
I love Weird West, and that seems to be there's a surge. Like I love it. It's hard to, it's not the easiest to find, but I like my Weird West binge for sure. But
Was
yeah,
that series Hex? Was that any good?
that was
The
a
what?
weird one. I have those Jonah Hex. You mean Jonah
Oh,
Hex?
Hex.
That was Hex.
It was some chick that was in it.
Megan Fox.
Okay, yeah.
She was in the
Okay, you're
Jonah Hex
talking
movie.
about the West. Yeah, that was a Jonah Hex, and then there was a weird like spin-off back in the days of the same comic called Hex, where he was like time traveling and was a different kind of character, but they were connected and the same dude. It was weird. Like it gets weird for sure.
Well,
Jonah
there was
Hex
also the
the root of some of that.
vehicle that came out next to it called Lex, which was a super giant, powerful space bug that was hijacked by a criminal.
Huh.
You ever seen Lex?
No,
LEXX?
no. I'm a big fan of the Aliens franchise and Giger's art.
I'm disappointed in you fellas.
Yeah, those
Look
are
up
good.
Lex, LEXX.
I know what Lex is. I know what
Okay,
it
Jeff
is.
knows. You gotta check it out.
But
It is
anyway,
wacky,
Jonah
but
Hex.
it's cool.
There's a great series. There's a Jonah Hex series, and then there's like another series, All Star Western. If you put in eBay All Star Western Complete or Jonah Hex Complete, Jimmy Palmiotti did a whole series of that. That's amazing. And then I've had Joe R. Lansdale on, who did some stuff with Timothy Truman, those
He
comics.
was cool.
That stuff was really good. The Jonah Hex is kind of the root of that Weird West. That's definitely and that's
I'll
what
definitely have to look into it.
Hex is an old series, but you may be thinking of something else, and I'm just tripping. But
Well,
Hex
he was a comic book too. I mean, he was a Marvel character, mid 70s or so. And it didn't last very long,
but we got about. Oh yeah, you got to go. So what time do you have to leave?
I got another 20 minutes. I can run till 9:30 if you guys need.
All right.
I just have a production meeting to worry about.
I definitely want to get you back for October or September. October would be better because I do crazy Halloween lineups, and you would be perfect.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
so
most definitely.
It's on a Friday though. It won't be on like Halloween week, that's for sure. But I'll check in with you and see if you have something available. Whether you would be perfect for that.
Okay.
For sure.
I will try to keep a weekend free for you.
That'll be awesome. I'll start communicating with you about it soon. We try to do really weird shows on Halloween. We had a dude on from Tampa that had a hearse ice cream truck, and he serves ice cream out of coffins and plays music. We had him on and interviewed him. Like I try to find weird, like well, that's pretty weird. That might fit on your show somehow. So.
I was gonna say that fits the bill on places to eat for Eerie America for sure. So hook me up with him.
Speaker, yeah, I will. It has like a speaker box. He gets the ice creams out of it. Plays crazy like Tim Burton stuff.
Oh my god, I would so put him on the show. That'd be perfect.
I'll find him. He's probably left my Facebook in the Exodus, but no, I'll find him. I have his email. I think I have his email.
Okay, yeah, most definitely hook me up with him.
Well, let's get into this vampire sex cult stuff. Is it bigger than a baby's arm? Let's do it. Vampire sex cults.
I think I sent you the cover of that book.
Yeah, you did. Tell us about it.
Well, we're going back in the time machine to the days of MySpace. Sandra Gibson, who went by the name of Star Gibson, emails me through MySpace out of nowhere because she is aware of a book that I'm starting to write on vampires, the history one that I talked about. And lo and behold, she is the mother of the infamous killer Roderick Farrell, who was the Murray, Kentucky vampire killer in 1990. Oh boy, I want to say 93. It could be 96. It is in that era.
The 90s.
He is the youngest person ever to be put on death row for the murder of Heather Wendorf's parents because she claimed that they were abusing her. Well, Rod, as a teenager, was abused by his maternal grandfather, so he claimed, and his aunt and his mother both backed up that story. But the grandfather was never charged. There was no evidence that him and his friends ever did anything to Rod, and that's partly what made young Mr. Farrell flip his switch. But he was already into some really weird stuff. Not that I have anything against it. I loved the games myself too. Vampire the Masquerade was all the rage during the 90s. So his mother got him hooked into that. He was deep into Anne Rice's books, and so was I. Rod and I had a lot of similarities in our past of parents that had abandoned us growing up in, really awful circumstances as kids. So I kind of felt bad. I related to him. So Sandra knew how to get me. So she's like, I'm going to mail you artwork and poetry and photos, newspaper clippings, all the stuff that I have on my kid. And, you can ask me questions. And she revealed some of the stuff. And I started working on it, and life just kind of got in the way. So I never finished it. But I found it on one of my hard drives, and I started plugging away at it again. During my writing hiatus, I just wanted to get back into doing something. And, last year and into this year, that makes at least 10 years since I worked on it.
So this guy haunts you. Are you possessed by a serial killer? But definitely fascinating stuff for sure. And Vampire the Masquerade's powerful stuff. Like it really, I love it too. Like I love the games, the old computer game, and like I know it. I love it. It's good. It's got a vibe. It's got a vibe.
For being an artist, I loved it for Tim Bradstreet's drawings. I mean, he also did the most realistic artwork for Marvel Comics Punisher back in the day. So, two of my favorite things is Punisher and, vampires. So, I started writing on it again, and I hadn't heard from Sandra in years. And then suddenly she emails me at darkmoonpress@gmail.com, and I open it up, and she said, hey, I saw that a friend of mine told me that you were on Facebook again and that you were going to publish, the Rod Farrell, story. And I said, yeah. And I said, the coincidence is I'm almost done. I've got an interview with Farrell from prison by another blogger, and I just put that in. But I have some follow-up questions that I have for you, since you were directly involved. You knew what was going on during that time period. You have your own perspective that all the other stories and documentaries don't have, because honestly, nobody wanted to talk to Sandra. They thought she was either crazy, just like Rod, or she was in trouble with the law because when she was young, she got charged for soliciting a minor. And, she got into some hot water and on probation back then, and she was a stripper, just like my mother was. So another thing I could identify with Rod on. And I make it pretty clear in the introduction when I'm talking about reminiscing about our similarities. I said, there's a lot that could be said about it, because I identify with the goths and the vampire subculture people and, being angry growing up. I said, it's only by my own morality and conscience that I didn't become a Columbine kid myself.
That was my next question. Are you one of the serial killers from the new Dexter?
Well, I will say one thing. At least Dexter is a vigilante that only kills bad people. So I kind of am cheering on Dexter as an anti-hero, really.
They did a great job with that, by the way. Peter.
They did. I've got the entire set from the beginning.
Yeah, really good. I just saw the new Toxic Avenger. I liked it. It was good.
I haven't seen Toxic.
It's on Hulu right now. It's on Hulu right now. But it's definitely, I like it. The guy, Macomb Blair, or whatever he does, he's done some really good past movies that are really good. So I thought it was good. It wasn't perfect, but I liked it. It was good. Had some good Kevin Bacon, some crazy villain that turns into like some Pan Faustian goat man at the end. I mean,
oh wow.
It's for anything more, but definitely The Punisher just had some comic book success with that Ben Percy Red Band series that came out
Yeah.
with Marvel, and now he's doing a spin-off that looks pretty interesting of the Punisher, where he's starting, I guess, the ongoing series. I just found out Joshua Williamson's. I'm loving the GI Joe Transformers Void Rivals thing with the Hasbro with Image and everything with Kirkman and all that. They
Okay.
did a Cobra Commander series with just Cobra Commander, and it's really
Oh,
freaking.
really?
Oh man, it's 5 issues. You could probably put it in Cobra Complete or find out the name of it and put in that Complete on eBay, and it'll come up people selling it probably. But it was really good, really creepy. He basically was in commune with these underground serpentine people in Cobra Law that were like reptilians, and he's human, but he like sabotages something and a bomb goes off and he gets disfigured, and then they send him above. But it's really crazy. But there's reptilians in it, like reptilian people. But yeah, it's really good. But the Punisher, I've come across those, but I still got to read them. And then I came across the Frankenstein Punisher graphic novel. I got that, and those were running low. I haven't read it, but yeah, look, that's pretty.
They did have some really weird ones back in the day, like where he was an avenging angel and he had guns that shot hellfire or some weird stuff, and none of these little weird kind of side stories ever took off. And I think it's because Marvel really didn't know what to do with him anymore, and some of the editors in chief didn't even like the character, so they tried to write him into oblivion, especially the last couple of years. But I will say that because John Bernthal has done such a phenomenal job on portraying him in the Marvel Comics universe, they kind of had to bring him back and do him right.
And then the police like immortalizing the Image and all that weirdness, like that don't help it none, probably. That,
well, you know, in the last 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, they directly addressed that problem where they were dirty cops working for Fisk, the Kingpin. So Frank Castle's like, I'm not going to play patty cakes with these guys, and he starts shooting them in the face when they come into Daredevil's apartment. Spoiler, sorry.
Yeah, that was really good. I may be a little behind, but I don't think I am by that much. I don't think I'm behind. But yeah, I didn't like what Netflix, how they just canceled that when they just kill stuff, and then they're trying to bring it back at least now. But I was really pissed off about Hannibal. Like, I'm still pissed off about Hannibal.
Well, Hannibal, I don't know, but I will tell you that the Netflix and Disney thing.
See Hannibal one day, those 3 seasons. See it.
Yeah, I've watched it.
Oh, you saw it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the Hannibal show, and I will say that Netflix lost the rights to do Punisher, and Marvel was taking it back, so they had to cancel the show, and now they brought it back under theirs. That's why if you go on Disney Plus, you'll see the original Netflix series of all of them on there, as well as the new stuff, because they just basically took back their rights as Marvel. When Netflix was doing it, it was only licensed to them for a short time.
They kill some really good stuff. Resident Alien, at least they ended it on a good note and with maybe a possibility. That was amazing. Doom Patrol, that was amazing. They killed it. And I mean, so many things get killed. It's hard to get invested these days.
Yeah, it is. And my biggest gripe as a comic, sci-fi geek is they have the best intention and they do a good job up to a point, and then they just trash the other aspects that I love about it from being a kid. So, it's kind of like recently you're seeing the trailer for Masters of the Universe, and visually it's stunning. But then when I look at the guy who plays He-Man, I'm like, he doesn't look at all, cut and built like this, power lifter like Dolph Lundgren.
I don't hate Jared Leto, but the Joker he did really upset me. But I think he's a good actor, but when I see him, it scares me now. Or Morbius, and like, I don't hate the guy. I don't like his music really, but I mean, it's okay. But I don't. But when I see him, I get scared.
Well, I will say
he's a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn, so I love that.
Yeah,
he still worries me.
I love Morbius as a character and how he portrayed him, but I think the movie wasn't done well.
I haven't even. I'm scared. I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm scared to watch it. I haven't watched it.
Well,
I'm going to. I should, but I'm hesitant. Very
yeah.
hesitant.
I mean,
No.
he did a good job as the character, but the movie itself was bad. It's like Punisher Warzone. Ray Stevenson was great as the character, but the movie was awful. Thomas Jane made a great Punisher, but the story was terrible because Travolta insisted. And this is the backstory here. I like to find out the whys and wherefores of everything. So it's like the reason why the 2004 Punisher was so awful is because Travolta was like, I live in Florida. I want it to be filmed in Florida, not New York, because I don't want to go anywhere else to do the movie. And they thought they needed his star power to sell the show. So they caved and rewrote the story to center around him being an FBI agent in Florida, and his entire extended family gets wiped out. And I'm screaming at to the movie screen as a fan going, no, it's supposed to be New York. He's a Vietnam veteran and they only kill his wife and kids. What are you doing to my favorite character?
So what I want to get more into we don't have much. So what did Rodney do what did he do? I mean, as far as the murder, what's his style?
Yeah, he thought he was rescuing Heather Wendorf from abusive parents. So they stole the family car and they were going to go from Kentucky down to New Orleans and live like vampires among the Anne Rice, the mythos of the French Quarter. But when he broke into the house to get the keys, he was with one of the other kids who was just an observer. He didn't actually kill him, but Rod was holding the crowbar and the father was asleep on the couch. So Rod just had this rage impulse come over him and he bludgeoned him to death. You can see the bloodstains all over the couch. And then he goes into the kitchen and blunders into the mother, who throws hot coffee in his face, wanting to know, why he's there and why he's covered in blood. And he threatens her. So when she throws the hot coffee on him, he just beats her skull in, and fragments of her brain and teeth are all over the floor. So he drops the crowbar. They go running out. They steal the car. And supposedly, Heather doesn't know that he was going to do that. But other documentary people and an author by the name of Aphrodite Jones wrote a book trying to portray poor sweet Heather. She was innocent and blah, blah, blah. Well, I got to tell you from my research and the notes that I've got, interviews with Rod's mother, and one of the letters that I copied in Rod's handwriting, where he alludes to the fact that Heather knew what was going on and wanted him to kill her parents. Plus, I finally found on YouTube the actual interrogation with the police of Heather, where they're grilling her about, did you tell Rod to go kill your parents? And what I transcribed word for word that put into a chapter on, and I call it Heather Was No Angel, because in my book, compared to everybody else's that have something out there on the Rod Ferrell vampire murders, they all want to make Heather look like she's so innocent, and she's not. But she walked because her father or grandfather was a attorney and a judge. So I think that some shady stuff went on behind the scenes, and she got a slap on the wrist. And she's living, basically witness protection style, where nobody knows where she is, and she inherited $500,000. And Rod's the only one that went to prison because he did the murders. Yeah, he was on LSD. He was high as hell, and he was enraged because he was told that they were abusive, and that triggered him. And
so
yeah,
where's he at now? Is he passed away now? Where's he at now?
No, actually, this is in no other book too. I can proudly say in mine is that Rod actually went back to court a few years ago and tried to petition to be released or commuted service or whatever, because he was the youngest person to be put on death row. Well, the Supreme Court said you can't execute a child, so he got multiple life sentences instead. Well, in I think 2000, I want to say 14, somewhere there, or no, maybe 19. 2019. He went back to court and tried to plead his case, but ultimately the judge decided that he was still a danger to himself and society, so he'll never get released. He's still alive.
Trippy.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's mind blowing. And the last third of the book, I copied the entire court case. I've got photos, I've got newspaper articles, I've got stuff handwritten and drawn by Farrell that I don't think exists in any other book.
Stuff's awesome. One of the weirdest things that I have that's kind of weird that we don't talk about very often is my Bigfoot book I did with Andrew Colvin, the Mothman photographer. It's like transcripts of like Bigfoot personalities that have been on the show. We transcribed it.
Oh, nice.
It's called Praise for the Hairy Man, The Secret Life of Bigfoot. It's on Amazon, but the cover is by Bobby Beausoleil, like Charlie Manson's dude or whatever. He knows him somehow and said he gave him some money to the commission area. Hopefully he did, and hopefully
Okay.
he doesn't show up at my door one day. And but anyway, it's weird. It's beautiful art too. Like, it's just interesting that some of these serial killers, like the artwork they do and the stuff they leave behind, a lot of it's really beautiful in its own way. It's creepy but beautiful. Darkly beautiful.
Yeah, that's one reason why I was so excited when she said she had all that stuff, because I think even though I can identify with him as a kid, I in no way whatsoever condone what he did. But I can relate to it, and I want to help people understand what he went through and what his mindset was and how awful the sick circumstances were that led up to it. And, Sandra was no angel herself, or he wouldn't have turned out like he did.
And I think there's many levels to this stuff. I mean, we've had a guy on that was one of the creepiest shows we've ever did, Robert Duncan, on a CIA whistleblower that supposedly had technology, yada, yada. He's passed now. But that show, I mean, I think some of this stuff may be manipulated from things like that, energy weapons and stuff. So there's just so many levels of it that get kooky as hell, but definitely fascinating to get into for sure. And we appreciate it, you coming on after so long. We're glad you're still kicking, and we'll definitely get you signed up for Halloween. And we've loved it, and we appreciate it so much. And you have any links or anything you want to give out or anything?
Well, you guys can definitely follow me on Facebook. I believe it's still listed under Corvus Nocturnum, but I write everything under ER Vernor. And next week we're launching darkmoonpress.net, and you can download on its homepage the entire catalog of all 500 books my company has.
Awesome. All right. Well, we appreciate it so much. Good luck with the next show, and I'll be in touch.
Right.
Take care, man.
Thank you, Jeff.
Man.
Thank you, guys.
See you. Have a good one.
Later.
Pleasure.
Welcome to the Church of Mabus radio show. It's Friday night. We're still alive. Not really. Always moshing to the apocalypse. And yes, it's bigger than a baby's arm. And it's funny, Ricky Jarvis told this story about Momo, and it was a story about he was going to use it about making fun of Momo's penis, and something about Peter Dinklage's arm being smaller than a baby's arm, something like that. It's funny. I saw it on Facebook, but I forget the whole story. It's something like that. We saw Ricky Jarvis recently. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's funny. Been trying to catch some comedians. A friend of mine, Derek, his birthday was today.
Oh.
He was on the show. He was on the show. He calls me sometimes, and
Derek Fortuny.
Yeah, he will talk about movies and shows until you die. And I like it, but after a while, you're like, it's been 6 hours. We better go. Like, he will talk about them like he's doing a psychological freaking study of these things. It's great. He's been on, but he didn't want to come back on, apparently. Maybe one day. But I want to get the dude. I've been trying to get him on. That Wild Trees knew that was the weird movie guy, and he has returned his email. So I guess he don't want to do any shows. But remember him? Were you here for that? He's like, I don't know if that was Beazle or you. I think it was you, wasn't it? He's like,
I was here for Wild Trees. Yeah.
Well, Wild Trees is friend, but he does a weird movie channel that's like weird, like old crazy movies. One was about
maybe. Probably was.
It was like movies. I don't think it was Wham. I think it was you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like the new Star Trek. I mean, there's some of the second episode. I was like, oh, what's this?
I think that was kind of dull, but I'll tell you what. I saw a lot of. I didn't see any spoilers, but a lot of negative feedback. You know, it's woke. It's this. It's that. I didn't see it being all that woke to begin with. Yeah, there's a little. But the first episode, I mean, made me laugh, made me cry. I liked it. It was good. There's 3 episodes out, and all 3 were good.
I have to watch the third one. And is Paul Giamatti back yet? Is he going to be a regular on there? Or was that just kind of a once in a while?
Then we have most of this is 1 episode, but I guess we have a few more episodes to go. They to keep spoilers down, they won't tell you what future episodes he's in until that episode airs. So I imagine we'll see him probably, if not in the middle, somewhere by the end at least.
He seems to evolve on some level. He's like he goes, like he gets more powerful. Because first off, what happened to him? I'm trying to remember everything. He was like in a prison or something, and what happened exactly? You remember some of the details?
He befriended the main character kid's mom when he was little. They robbed the place. They got caught. They took the mom to Federation prison, and then they took him away somewhere, but he escaped on the way to take him to where they were going to store him. He got away, and then it doesn't tell you what happens between that. And then you see him and the kid at this time is like 8. 10 years later, 15 years later is when we see them next, and then the kid's grown up and he's got his own spaceship and all. So all that we know, or all that I know, is that he was part of some sort of either a pirate group or organization or a government that broke up the Federation and busted up all those planets.
Huh. What race is he? You remember?
Klingerite.
A lot of weird races I don't remember ever hearing about.
I'm assuming he's part Klingon and part something else, maybe Tellarite.
What's up with the Klingon black dude? Is that the full Klingon wear? Like they usually
Klingon, yeah.
They keep changing the Klingon so much I don't know what.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Yeah, but I'll watch it for Paul Giamatti. My secret wish is Paul Giamatti returns as Bubba Hotep 2 against the She Nosferatu. Originally, Bruce Campbell was Bubba Hotep, where Bubba Hotep fought the ancient mummy in the old folks' home. Dog, quit making those noises. And the mummy would come to you at night and steal your soul from your butthole. And they found the ancient mummy, and it got unleashed in Elvis's old folks' home, and he's really Elvis, Bruce Campbell. And his clone, it's a long story, but there's a black guy that claims he was died, and he used to be JFK, but they dyed him black, like a famous black actor. It's really weird, but good. It's on Amazon. It used to be. I don't know if it's still there, but for some reason, Bruce Campbell will not do a sequel to it. And it's by Don Coscarelli, the guy that did Phantasm and Beastmaster and all that stuff. It's called Bubba Hotep, but it's by Joe R. Lansdale. That's Joe R. Lansdale. He wrote it. But it's one of my favorite movies ever. I could watch it anytime. I love it. It's funny. But Bruce Campbell's an Elvis, the real Elvis in an old folks' home while he let another person be Elvis. It's a long story. You'd have to just see it. But there's an ancient mummy that will steal your soul from your butthole from old people. And he has to do battle with it. But for some reason will not make a sequel. And they're thinking Paul Giamatti, but that may never happen either, the way things are looking. You've been keeping up with Fallout any? I like it. And it's not the best thing. It's not the best in the world or anything, but I like the ghoul. He's the best part now. Ron Perlman's a super mutant in it. It's good. It's not terrible. It could be a lot worse. But the best part is definitely why can't I remember his name? Walter Goggins as the ghoul.
Walton Goggins.
Yeah, Walton Goggins. That's the best part. It reminds me of Jonah Hex.
Is he being Jonah Hex?
No, it just reminds me of like the character who plays the character.
I think he'd be perfect for Jonah Hex character.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's a ghoul. The ghoul he plays reminds me of Jonah Hex.
Oh, I
Like
see.
he's kind of like in a Western suit and stuff. And oh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What year is it? But anyway, that was a great interview. I love that dude. I didn't know he was like a crazy bounty hunter and shit. I was like, what the hell? Guests always surprised me. Like when I didn't know the guy wrote all those DVDs about Batman and stuff, I was like, damn, I have all those in the next room. My nephew does. I didn't know you wrote every single one of them.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Yeah. I had you on here for the alien shit. I didn't know. I like it when I'm surprised. So the bounty hunter story was cool. I didn't know he
Yeah,
was in that craziness. I didn't know he was in that craziness. So that was pretty awesome. But anyway, man. So what's going on? Is it an authoritarian power grab, or is it just another administration?
No, I think we're in I think this year it's going to be a period of colonialism. I think we're going to annex. I mean, what's the deal's already going through. We got, some minor details. He's going to grab up Greenland. Pretty sure we've sealed the deal on grabbing up Venezuela.
Is there any point
right
where
there.
you go, this shit's crazy? Is what I want. Is there any?
Look.
Is that go through your mind? Do you think it's crazy?
Yeah.
Seems crazy to me. It seems really crazy.
He's got to be very, very careful in the next few weeks. If he grabs too much too quick, he's likely to start a global war, World War III.
It seems terrifying, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's like COVID. It's like worse. It's like worse than it. Like going through it. It's like its own thing. They need to call it something. They call it Trump derangement syndrome, I guess.
TDS.
Yeah. To me, it's like something evil in Lord of the Rings infecting you, is what it feels like. But nonetheless, back to the news hour. I keep up with it all. I try not to make sides, but I think he's nuts, but he's scary. He seems like he has a Hitler fetish.
I don't know.
You should check out Sarah Squish on HBO. Have you seen it?
No.
Her name's Sarah Squish, Live in the Flesh. And John Waters is there, who made some movies with Johnny Depp. He's a gay dude, but he just kind of helps her host it. But she's a comedian. And it's crazy. Like, it's one of those surprises that you're like, what the hell is this? It's good, but it's surprising. It's weird. She has a lot of claymation and weirdness. Like, guess what the wound is? You're guessing the pictures of wounds, like knife wounds. People leave at the end covered in blood.
It was a bit strange. Yeah.
It was good. I'd watch it again. I liked it. I didn't know it was like she was Gallagher. Like they showed live people at our events and stuff. I like Gallagher. Is he even alive anymore? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think he is.
They're rolling him around. They roll Gallagher around.
Well, him and his brother were used at one point. They split the country down the middle at the Mississippi. The real Gallagher that started the comedy thing, he did the West Coast, and his brother did the East Coast. But I think his brother died, and he still does shows, but he's only in Vegas now.
Yeah. Awesome. What about Andrew Dice Clay? He's still kicking.
He's also doing shows in Vegas, yeah.
They need to resurrect Sam Kinison with the Necronomicon, and then we'll be there. But comedians, though, Derek hooks me up with comedians, and I've seen Ricky Jarvis. That's the only one I remember. Ricky Jarvis. I've seen
Ricky Gervais, yeah.
Dave Chappelle. I always see those. I like Chris Rock. Dave, one of the Wayans brother, the younger one, he was funny as hell. One of those. It was really good. One of the Wayans. The younger
I got
brother.
to see Tommy Chong in Savannah years ago.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, he was funny.
They're doing a new Cheech and Chong. I would watch the old ones. I should. They're good.
They're funny.
They're old. They're funny. They're weird.
Mm-hmm.
I remember some lady snorting Ajax. Something, but they're doing a new one.
Oh, that's cool. Finally. It's about time.
Yeah, they're doing a new one. They have their own like weed brand, don't they? Like chewables and stuff.
They have Cheech and Chong. Yeah, I don't know if it's a store or if they have their own product, but yeah.
What about Tarantino did his own Django Zorro comics? I have those.
I have no idea.
They get expensive. He did his own it's Django and Zorro. And basically Stranger Worlds. I don't know if I'm caught up on Star Trek Stranger. I love that. That was good. I didn't finish the main series. That kind of bored me out. I didn't see the one with the Asian lady, the movie. I didn't get to see that. I might watch that one year. I don't have a problem against watching it. I just haven't seen it. But I like Stranger Worlds. The weirder, the better. You have HBO. I'll tell you a crazy one. The Chair Company.
What company?
The Chair Company.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Chair Company. It's about a guy.
Horror show?
No. Well, there might be something that might be construed as horror, and there's some weirdness in it. That's weird, but I don't know if horror is the word. A lot of Tim Robinson's in it. Have you ever seen the movie Friendship?
No.
You need to see Friendship and the Chair Company. Friendship is about him and Paul Rudd, and Tim Robinson becomes kind of a stalker, crazy neighbor. Yeah. Crazy.
I've seen the trailer for that.
It's really good. And then he also did a show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave, and it's skits, and those are crazy as hell. Like he's like crying to a little gray alien. He's like a dude that I don't know if he has a mental problem, but if he does, he's taken it and embraced it. It's the best way to put it. He's different. I think he used to be on Saturday Night Live. He might have autism or something. I may have autism. But anyway, I was poisoned by water many moons ago. It's come up that I may have it. I don't know if I do or not, but I know I had toxic water and I have one nut. So there was something about toxic water that happened. But it was a Toxic Avenger kind of thing. But anyway, I Think You Should Leave. He's like crying to a gray alien, skits, but he's crazy. See Friendship if you can. It's a dark comedy. And then the Chair Company, I'm going to try to describe it. This dude works at a chair company. Lou Diamond Phillips is a boss there. He hits him. He hits him. Haven't seen Lou Diamond Phillips in a long time. And there's a conspiracy that someone may be bringing something into the chairs through the company, and it gets just really weird. Like there's a lot of weird. There's some weird porn scenes in it. This guy that watches like these jerky boys porn where they just talk nasty, and there's like it shows the scenes. You're like, damn, I'm glad there's no kids around. And like it gets crazy. Like it really is. It's crazy, and it ends crazy. So that dude's a new upcoming actor that I like. That's really good. He's different. That boy different. That's what a black dude used to tell me. You different, boy. You stupid. Manager. I got him fired because he said something sexual harassment about a lady, a pregnant lady. He said that's like a bucket of chicken wax.
Oh God.
And he got fired for sexual harassment. But so that was another lifetime.
Gotta be careful not to say stupid shit in front of the wrong people.
Yep, that's for sure. So is it authoritarian power grab? Or is it Ronald Reagan on steroids?
I don't know. But what a few people did say, and I was like, no, there's no way he's not going to invade, Greenland, and not this, not that.
Didn't he say it? Didn't he say I'm a dictator? Like he said it. Like he was admitting it, like at Davos or whatever. He says that people think I'm a dictator. It's crazy, no matter how you look at it.
I didn't catch that part, but
something about it. I'll find it. Let's see.
He's definitely put a scare on the world. That's for damn sure.
Is he a dictator?
I don't think so, but
Donald Trump. This is on Newsweek. Donald Trump says sometimes you need a dictator at Davos COO reception. So he said at the reception. It's on. That's everywhere. It's on. God, it's on every. It's Snopes, Newsweek, Huffington Post, blah blah blah, Yahoo, Financial Times, and it's all dictator and more. So he knows what he's doing, but he definitely seems like he has some medical issues for sure.
Yeah.
What's up with the things on his hands? That's from like syringes or something, like pumping you full of stuff.
I don't
Like
know. Maybe he,
the little
yeah, he
bruises.
might have had some IV fluid pushed in through there. I don't know.
May not even be Donald Trump anymore. Maybe like some weird Republican blob
That's
shapeshifter.
exactly what they're saying about Biden right now. They're saying that Biden died in 2000 something or other, and they replaced him with this guy that looks like him.
There's really weird stuff on the right that's scary that I don't understand where it comes from. And
There's
one
weird
of it,
stuff on the left.
well, I
Today,
know that, but what I'm talking about is like Madonna, Adam Sandler, George Clooney, and any liberal actor is dead and then get Mo and been replaced by a clone, and they pass around lists of these people. Like it's like a celebrity death list of people this didn't happen to.
yeah,
It would really surprise me if it did. And they pass it around, and they'll even say it like these are like QAnon people. They'll be like, "Don't you know Hillary's dead? She da 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 da. She was at Kill the Gitmo." Like they quote that they really think these people are dead.
yeah.
I don't. They're crazy.
Nuts. It's crazy. I mean, today, but the way the news is spinning it doesn't matter whether it's from the right or the left. Today, ICE attempted to arrest a man that had his 5-year-old son with him. When they approached him, the man bolted and left his son in the middle of Minneapolis, in the middle of a blizzard. They're underneath a snowstorm right now. So he leaves his 5-year-old kid and takes off. They catch him. They take the son with them. They try to get back to his mom. The mom wouldn't take him. But the news media, before all the facts were gathered and sent out, there was the Democratic representative got on the news immediately and said that they kidnapped the boy from his home and then took it to the father's home to draw the father out in an attempt to arrest him, using the child as bait, it was a completely false and made up lie. But that's what they're doing.
I like to study it. I'm behind enemy lines on the right and the left. I guess I lean left, but I lean in a little bit of everything, I guess, in some way. But I know that there's a quote from Courtney Brown, a remote viewing. I know I've said this before somewhere. And the book's like Cosmic Explorers, and he says something really interesting. The right and the left paradigm has destroyed ancient alien civilizations, like left versus right. Like two things saying, Republican, Democrat, left, right, north, south, the Civil War. I mean, you could see where that's a possibility. I could see that it's doing it right now.
Yeah,
and even
there's a clear division right now.
And even though if you don't think Trump is Hitler, even though to me he seems like he likes Hitler, even I'm just saying if you don't, that's fine. But there are forces that are trying to paint fascism versus communism, and the left is painting the fascism and the right's doing the communism. It may be true on some level, but sooner or later that's just not going to have a happy ending. Like with left, crazy.
I think people are starting to see the
crazy leftists thinking there's Nazis. That's just this is getting dangerous.
No,
Like,
it's
really
beyond
dangerous.
that. It's already gotten dangerous. People are already dying over this.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it is nuts. It's just fucking. It's absolutely crazy, stupid.
It's scary.
I mean, look. One of the worst things is that lady got killed because she was interfering with police tactics. So even though we have the right to assemble peacefully, nowhere in the Constitution does it say we have the right to riot. We have the right to assemble peacefully, which means not interfering with social services, emergency services, or the traffic. You can't stand in the middle of traffic and protest or have a lawful sit-in or whatever. You can't block traffic. That's what they're doing. So that's all of that stuff is against the law.
Yeah.
They feel though that they think that because they've been told by Tim Walz and other leaders that these ICE agents are operating illegally, that they think because the cops are operating illegally, they can stop them. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you think
yeah.
a policeman is operating illegally, you can't stop that officer from doing his
What
job.
the girl was doing was stupid, but the murder
She was
seemed like,
interfering with them.
it
She
seemed
shouldn't
like
have been
an
in the area.
but it seemed like
Plain
an
and simple.
assassination to me, like for a distraction, which I don't know if that's true, but
It's not.
it was creepy.
If
I
it was an
watched the video.
assassination,
It was
if it was an
creepy.
assassination, they would have pulled her out of the truck,
Yeah,
thrown her
I
on the
just
ground,
thought
put
it
her on her
was.
knees, and then shot her. That's
I just wish
assassination.
it wasn't so extreme. That just seemed like the last extreme.
Believe me, Jeff, I had
That
40. I had
dude's in hiding now
look,
forever. His life's destroyed.
I took 4 years of police training right before I got out of high school and right out of high school. So my last 2 years of high school, my first 2 years of college was in training to become a policeman. I'm afraid, Jeff, if I was in that policeman's position and I got smacked by a car, I would have shot her too. It's me or her. That's the way it works. But I'd rather it be me than her. Sorry to say.
Vote Republican. Everybody's welcome to their opinion. But as far as the video itself, it seemed extreme to me. And that this is not going to end well, is what I think, as far as violence is concerned. And if you look at Iran, man, they freaking have probably killed like what 20,000 or more, God knows, and they're fighting.
20,000 has been killed in recent
like,
times. Yeah, just in just the recent 2
I
weeks.
hope this stuff doesn't go to that level of murder. There's supposed to be a crazy winter coming in here, and only is going to make us have the 60s, maybe a little lower. I have to double check, but it's not going to hit us as bad, unfortunately, and I wish it would. It actually snowed here. It was light snow, and but there's a crazy storm coming. What is it going to be up there? It's going to be like negative. It's going to be
up to 2 feet
snow. Okay, yeah, it's a crazy one, man. It snowed here last week. And it snowed last year, and I'd never seen snow here. So
hopefully, it's likely to snow again this week.
About the coming of the global superstorm by Whitley Strieber. That movie, what was that? The Day After Tomorrow. That was the movie is called The Day After Tomorrow.
That's a good movie. Yeah, I like that movie.
That was by a book by Whitley Strieber called The Coming of the Global Superstorm, about a true storm coming that is horrible. That could sink us to the ice age or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it could happen. You never know. If a nuke went off and blocked the sun, it could happen, couldn't it? Or something like it black out the sun and kind of cause it, wouldn't it?
No, I mean most nukes explode above ground. They don't hit the ground, so they're not going to throw up a lot of debris into the atmosphere. Now, an asteroid or a meteorite that's a significant size will throw up a lot of dirt and silt into the atmosphere and keep the sun out for months, up to maybe a year or so, but not more than that.
I keep thinking about old ER getting thrown through that latch door and shooting at those dudes. That's some James Bond right there, buddy. Remember the story? He told it about they put him through a latch door of the cartel and moved him up. I guess pushed him up and he shot him and came back down with the bounty hunter situation. But anyway, you're listening to United Public Radio 107.7 FM New Orleans. Next week, the super band. You can sit in if you want, Jay. You don't have, that's up to you. You don't I know you probably like your rest, but if you want to sit in, Johnny Zoltar and his drummer. Remember Johnny Zoltar?
I remember Johnny.
I usually put him with you, but sometimes I run out of dates and I just got to put him where I put him, or when they have a date open. But if you're welcome to sit in if you like, but basically he's going to be playing music and hopefully it doesn't mess up.
Yeah, we had a little trouble getting his stuff across the internet last time.
But he has some drummers going to be with him. He told a crazy story about being at a party and someone handed him the phone. It was Charles Manson.
Wow.
That's a weird story. But Johnny Zoltar, Johann Tritot will be here. So next Friday. All right, everybody. Let's see who's coming up. What I got. We got like a minute. I'm just gonna say the guests real fast. I'm tired, man. It's been long. This Trumpelgooch stuff is draining. It's like the big C.
We got 3 years more to go.
We'll be lucky if we live. I'll probably be in a camp at this point. Let's
We'll have to
see.
see if he goes rogue or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Sooner or later, I would think the military would step in if it starts getting too crazy. It's already getting crazy with the Danish.
He's already threatened to throw the military into it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's already the NATO thing and all that. I know. What is the thing with him? Like, they're acting like he got Greenland out of this, though they just kind of agreed not to use force, and they'll talk about it more, right? But they're acting like on the right that he, like, a lot of the news
they got
outlets,
pretty much the framework is ready to go. I mean, it's there's a
but they
deadline on when
agreed.
to sign it
They
all, but
agreed.
yeah.
But they were against it, so suddenly they agreed to it. Did they agree to it, or what? I mean,
I don't know, but there's no details other than the framework is ready and that there's a deadline. They didn't tell us when the deadline was.
I don't know. Weird. But anyway, Philip Edward Summers, Thane Frederick Benson, Stephen J. Giangelo, and Graham McNeil. That's who's coming up. I'm still working on the Frank Miller thing, but we got to get going. I got the book. So you would think it's like, dude, you sent me the book. What about the interview?
Yeah, really, you'd think.
Cool book too. It's a cool book, so I'm gonna try to write them again. But I'm sure the problem is a lot of people are asking to interview Frank Miller, probably like a lot. All right, man. We'll catch you later. See you next time. Take care, everybody. Good night.